Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for joining me on this morning talk. Sorry, it's a little dark, guys. I'm heading up a mountain right now on my way to work. And I apologize. I have not put out, at least on YouTube, much content lately. I have had videos ready to go. But let's just say that those videos were... they were going to be censored immediately or pulled down or whatever. I've been having a very hard time of it here recently with what's going on. It's so irritating, man. I mean, look, the pendulum swung, folks. I remember I told you guys, under the green, Marxist carbon credit cartel scam artists, the leftists, the pendulum was pushed to the far left, and it just was ridiculous with all this stuff they were pushing and the censorship constantly. But here we are, the pendulum swung the other way, and now instead, last year it seemed like things were going in the right direction, right? Well, that was all just a setup because the Caananites we're infiltrating, and we're just getting all their pieces in position, to fully take over the United States. And the United States has been completely taken over, coup d'etat, by the Caananites. The Caananites were running the island situation. And it's a lot more of a vast network than I don't think anybody can even imagine how vast it was. I mean, when we're looking at the files right now, I mean, it's going into like everything you can imagine. Gene editing, cloning, I mean, harvesting babies, eating, the same. Beyond just the pervert stuff, right? It was a vast blackmailing operation. And look, financially too, folks, nobody talks about that because it's not as exciting, I guess, to people, right? Titillating is the financial stuff. Look, these people all had their hands in the financial crisis in the United States, right? Back in around 2001. Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, subprime mortgages, adjustable rate mortgages, balloon loans, all this crap. It's all these people's hands are on it. And then you got Patel and Bongino come out a year ago. Oh, there's nothing going on here. Just one dude, doing this, procuring for himself. Nobody else. No, folks, look. That guy, the EP guy, was just a cog in a machine, okay? He wasn't even that intelligent of a guy. The dude had a micro weenie, okay? Oh yeah, did you hear about that? How he wanted to, he was talking with Billy Gates and all that, and he was, in some of the emails, he mentioned how he wanted his DNA in all these, the jabberoos, right? Yeah. A lot of you that got the jabberoos here, that was all contrived. It was medical tyranny brought down on the whole world, and depopulation tactics through eugenics, through sterilization and other, other side effects. We'll leave it at that. Well, a lot of you might have got the micro penis gene from old Epstein. I kid you not, man. I mean, wow. It's unbelievable. That's the old Pinky in the Brain situation there, right? Old Pinky, micro, wee boy Epstein and his buddy, the Brain, Billy the Gates, right? I'm telling you guys, what the hell? Did I wake up in a movie at some point? What the hell is all this? I've been having a hard time with it all, folks. I really have. It's getting so hard to deal with all this. And I've noticed my Facebook page is full monetization, no hits against it, but yet it's getting shadow banned right now. I'm getting no reach. I mean, my reach like dropped by 3/4 because of some of my posts criticizing the situation going on in that Persian country, right? And criticizing these Canaanites and their devil god, right? You guys have heard my talks. And yet here's all these Christians slobbering over these clowns and their fake god. Yeshua was trying to teach them, your God is the devil, a liar from the beginning. And all you clowns are worshiping this lying God, this God that goes all the way back to Sumer. This storm god, right? It's such a clown show. Look, these Christians don't even understand. If they would do a little research into the Ugaritic text, out of, I'm probably saying it wrong, sorry folks, out of, that were discovered, they were tablets discovered in the Levant there, that go back to the Canaanites, older than the Bible, 1300 BC. Well, your boy Yahweh is one of the Canaanite gods, just a tribal god, one of the gods amongst a pantheon of Canaanite gods, who over time, his tribe, his followers, his cult grew in power and prestige, and they slowly started overtaking the other cult followings of the other Canaanite gods. And eventually, this Yahweh character embodied all of the Canaanite gods. Even the father god El. That's why in your Old Testament, it starts out talking about El Elyon. Well, El is the god Saturn, the god, the head god over the Canaanite pantheon. But eventually, Yahweh came to embody El. And El had a consort, Asherah. That's why they find evidence of Asherah's altars next to Yahweh's altars. Well, that was in the earlier days, and then later on they made it a patriarchal god, only one patriarchal god in power, and they had to kick Asherah out of his temples. Folks, you've all been scammed. Now Christians would say, well, yeah, that's what the Bible tells you. It's warning against the worship of Asherah and Baal and Chemosh and all these other Canaanite gods. Well, yeah, because it was a cult. Yahweh was a Canaanite god. It was a cult following people. Of course. As his cult grew in power, they started wiping out the other cults. What do you think happened in Egypt? What do you think the warring of the Sumerian gods happened? Look at Marduk in Babylon overtook his father Enki as the chief god. And Lil and Enki were always at war in Sumer and Akkad, okay? And you always had Inanna also fighting for the prestige, her cult of being the top one. Folks, it's a game that's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. And you're all out here worshiping this goat-humping devil, a desert living cult god, Yahweh. And look at this. Now you got this whole tribe of these clowns of Canaanites who later became the Phoenicians, the merchants of the world, the lawyers, right? The Noahide law they brought onto the world, the maritime law. Put it all, spread it throughout the world, spread out their merchant, their trading, their banking systems, right? You always hear about Khazar, right? The Khazarian mafia, right? Well, where do you think that comes from, folks? Well, the Khazars were like a pirate class nation that was situated right over the freaking part of the Silk Road. And they made their money and power on the trade routes. Pillaging and taxing and, tolling the merchants traveling along the Silk Road. Well, they joined in with this Phoenician tribe. It's all just, look, man, the groups that have joined in with this tribe of Yahweh, these Canaanites, have always been the worst people on the earth, folks. If you haven't noticed that yet, well, who the frick rules the world? Look at this. The island situation, who's now controlling our president. I mean, Christians have been tricked through the Schofield Bible and stuff to believe these Canaanites are the chosen ones of the creator of all? Really? You guys actually believe that bullshit? It's unbelievable, man. I can't wrap my mind around people whose so-called faith, blind faith, would get them to worship a devil god, the demiurge, right? I mean, look, the Gnostics understood that Yahweh was the demiurge, folks. So why do you think your old Pastor Dan tells you, don't you dare read those Gnostic texts, they're satanic? Well, they're not satanic. They're teaching you that Satan, that this being, this God, this administrator of the earth, of the lower carnal world, the third dimension, is Yahweh. They call him Yaldabaoth, but I think a lot of that, the reason I think why they changed the name a little from the, Caananite God, right, was because, they were already being attacked and wiped out by, by his tribe and by this early church for telling the truth. Go do some research into the Cathars also. Same thing. They wiped the Cathars out. The Roman Church did. And the Roman Church was hunting down the Gnostics. Why do you think thank God the Nag Hammadi got buried in Egypt, where it was overlooked and passed for thousands of years, 2,000 years almost, before it was rediscovered. And then you go read those texts, and guess what? You're learning about other teachings of Yeshua and his followers, right? The book of Thomas, book of Philip, the truth about Mary Magdalene, that she was not a prostitute, right? Like the New Testament tries to teach you. Like the scum called Paul, the Pharisee Paul, that this tribe of Canaanites sent in to infiltrate the church, the early church, after Yeshua was gone, right? To take it over. Yeah. All I know, that upsets all you guys. Oh, Paul's a good boy. Paul's a good man. How dare you? Did you know that Paul is like responsible for almost half the writings or more in the New Testament? It's not the teachings of Yeshua. Is it? It was usurped by the teachings of Paul. Apollyon. You guys have all been tricked. It's always been a trick, man. And the sheep always fall for it. Why do you think they teach you to be a good sheep? Look for the shepherd to lead you. Folks, it's all scammed. Haven't you figured that out? Don't you understand anything about sheep and the shepherds and the sheepdogs and the wolves? It's all an allegory, folks, and they're making fun of you to your face, telling you, look, you're a dumb sheep. Yeah, look for the shepherd. He's going to come save you someday. I'm in the shepherd's fold. I'm a sheep for Jesus. I mean, think about this, folks. You know, the Bible teaches in allegories, right? Well, think about the allegory, right? What does the shepherd do? He protects the sheep from the wolves, right? The ravenous wolves that want to eat the sheep because they're hungry. And then what does the shepherd use to help him? The sheepdogs, right? They keep the wolves away. They don't not just keep the wolves away, you know, but they also help herd the sheep, you know, If they get out of line, they nip at their heels. They push them back into the center of the fold. Right? Like your pastors, like Pastor Dan. Right? Oh, we got to back these Canaanites, man. They're the chosen ones. The Schofield Bible told me so. And I'm waiting for the rapture, son. And you're going to hell, son. All these fake man-made beliefs, man. They're not even in the Bible, most of it. But, yeah. So you got the sheepdogs, right? Yeah, that's your pastors and all this, right? They're working for the shepherd. They're keeping all the sheep in line, nipping at their heels. You know, all the while telling them, look out, the wolves are going to eat you. The wolves are coming for you. You got to believe us. Just stay in line. Get here. Let us keep you all in this sheepfold. Yeah, keep corralled. And it's all for the end, folks. Well, what's the end? Well, because the shepherd wants to eat the sheep just as much as the wolves, but he's got them controlled so he can do it at his leisure, whereas the wolves got to try to steal or break in and, take one here or there, whatever. The shepherd can take his time and he can choose which of the sheep he wants to eat whenever he wants and feed them to his sheep dogs, right? Oh, and on top of that, they fleece the sheep, right? Fleecing, take their wealth, their coat, their protection. It's the true value that a sheep adds besides their meat. Well, what do you think they do in church? Pass that tray around, son. And everybody watching you. Because nobody wants to put money in the tray, right? They hate that shit. But, because everybody's just barely making it. Yeah, now that we're, our gas has just gone up over $1 a gallon in a week and a half for the Canaanites, right? That we're all told we got to now sacrifice for the Canaanites. Well, right now we're being fleeced by the Canaanites, right? And the sheepdogs are in the White House. Now, they're not the true shepherd because they're a bunch of clowns. It's all been a big ruse, right? The pendulum swung from one end to the other. Now we're in the ultimate deception of the far right, of the religious right, the fanatical Canaanite right. They're all talking about, how they're telling the soldiers and stuff. And look this up if you don't believe me. There's been hundreds of reports of these Christian generals telling their command that we're come on, sons, we're going into Armageddon. Get ready, it's gonna be glorious. I'm telling you, man, it's such a clown show. And guess what? I'm back to being censored again. I censored from the left and censored by the right. Because truth has no place in this world. We're ruled by psychopaths. Whether they're Marxist psychopaths or they're religious psychopaths. It don't matter, folks. The left and the right, man. It's always the same paradigm. Yeah, oh sure, they're striving against each other to see who can rule over us. Who could pick the carcass clean. But they're both evil. They're both psychopathic, sociopathic. And that's just the reality of this realm, of this lower dimension. People's carnal selves take over, and we're ruled by a devil. And the devil is an energy. But, be a good sheep, get fleeced. Yeah, I said earlier, sorry folks, I went off on a tangent, but nobody wants to put money in that tray, right? They all looking around, watching each other like hawks, right? Like little sheepdogs, making sure that the sheep stay in line. Put your money in that platter. Look, Pastor Dan got to send his daughter to Harvard. Pastor Dan's got to get a new roof on his mansion. Pastor Dan he's got to get his driveway repaved, and his Cadillac's getting a little old. He needs to upgrade to a brand new model, folks. He needs a souped up version too. Oh, and by the way, Pastor Dan's got an eye on your wife there. She might need the Holy Spirit, a little bit of that Holy Spirit, put in some church time. I'm telling you, these are all a bunch of clowns. They're all a bunch of fakes, folks. You're all tricked. I don't know how else to tell you. You've all been tricked. And that's why they tell you to your face you're a sheep. Go be a good sheep. Now they're coming up with new words for people like me that are not for all of this stuff going on, right? Yeah. As you're already struggling now, what happened to the Doge checks, folks? What happened to the tariff rebate checks? That's called rope-a-dope, okay? They rope-a-doped us. Rope-a-doped all of you. Why? Well, because they knew after the 4 years of Biden and the leftists that inflation had gotten so out of control. And look, folks, the dollar, which is ran by the Canaanites, is collapsing. We're 40 trillion in debt almost at this point. Look, why the hell are we so worried about paying, you're paying your credit cards and paying your taxes and all this when the government is 40 trillion in debt and they're shut down again right now? The government is shut down again because they can't even pass a budget. They can't balance their own budget. And they're in debt to this Caananite tribe. Maybe what's happening right now, folks, is this Caananite tribe is calling in their debts right now. And they already blackmailed and paid off all the politicians. So now they're just puppeteering all of our politicians to carry out this war that is not in our interests in any way whatsoever. It's not in the world's interests. It's only for one little shithole Canaanite piece of land. Right? Going back thousands of years, same blood-soaked, religious-soaked, clown-soaked, psychopathic piece of land and people. I'm so tired of the Abrahamic face, folks. The Marxists are bad enough. They're a type of religion in themselves. But I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that once the pendulum swung so hard to the left that it was going to extremely swing to the right. It's the laws of polarity. It's go research the Hermetic laws, folks. You're watching it in real time right now. And there are very few of us that walk the middle path. Like, I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, folks, but I try to walk the middle path and see both sides of the coin. I try to walk the edge of the coin. And wow, it's unbelievable what's happening. So, if you guys are wondering why I haven't put out a lot of videos and stuff, well, for one, I've had a lot going on with work and everything. I've had videos ready to go, but right now censorship is ramping up so much. I guess it's back to code speaking and just, trying to walk around the algorithms, because now the algorithms have been readjusted now, right? From anything that you said against the last administration, now it's been tweaked to go anything you say about this administration to censor you and shadow ban you and whatever. And I'm sure they're working on it. They're going to start deplatforming people again, right? As everybody started getting replatformed on YouTube and everything, now they're going to start deplatforming people again as this continues to heat up, because there can be no dissent. They got to keep the sheep in line. And so I've been very cautious, folks. That's been one of the reasons, okay, amongst many, that I haven't posted much. And if this video sees you guys, well, it got through. If not, well, I guess it's another video that I wasted time on. But anyways, folks, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm sorry, this sounds like super black pill. And look, go research the Ugaritic text, okay, the Ugaritic text, the clay tablets from Caananite. Go read them. Go read about them. You're going to get answers, okay? You're going to get answers, and you're going to start to understand why things like the Mudic Tau, is what it is, and who these people really are, and the scum that they really are, okay? And keep delving into the Epper files, because what you're going to find there too is that it's these people. That's how they think, okay? And you're going to see what they call you, Yeah, and what they think of you. And it's in their books, okay? And they believe all this stuff. They're look, this stuff to them is their bread and butter. They celebrate the time, where red paint was put over the doorways in Egypt so that their God, this loving creator God the Christians tell you about, went around and wiped out Egyptian babies. Okay? Such a loving God, right? Oh yeah, they were all evil. They had to be wiped out. The Christians are like, well, it's about faith in the blood of Yeshua. Or they say Jesus, the Roman construct Jesus Christ, right? Yeah, pretty sure Yeshua was not for that, folks. But hey, you want to believe that? You believe anything. See, what you guys have done is you've taken the amazing master teacher, our brother Yeshua. You took all of his teachings and you coupled them with the devil. Yes, that's what you did. And so, anyways, folks, I gotta go. But I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Stay strong. I'm sorry. I know that these economic woes are going to get worse for you and yours. I just filled up gas right now, and it's literally now hit $1 over what it was a week and a half ago. $1 a gallon. That's going to increase our food prices. Your home electricity bills are going to go up. Natural gas bills. It's all going up, folks. Look, they don't care about you, okay? Like Tupac said, they don't give a fuck about us. Okay, now I know what he was talking about, but it can go for all of us. They don't give a fuck about us. They see us as cattle and sheep. They don't care, okay? They have no thought for us. And it's about time that we start realizing that and we start banding together against them. So, anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.